Hey guys, this is Coach Peter. In this video we're going to cover the proper execution of dumbbell bench press. And I want to frame this that the goal of this type of a dumbbell bench press that we're going to covering is the goal of hypertrophy, so building the chest and the triceps and the shoulder muscles, and also to maintain and preserve healthy joint function. So that means that we're going to be using a full range of motion as opposed to shortening the range of motion. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and look at their setup here. So if we want to challenge our pecs maximally, we want to use as much range of motion as possible. And what you see oftentimes people doing is they arch their back. And this is a great strategy if your goal is to move maximal weights, because you want to move them for a shorter distance. However, if your goal is purely, physique and health focused, it makes sense to keep your lower back on the bench and not arch at all. So now the range of motion is actually going to be straight off the bat. The range of motion is going to be much, much larger. So a lot of folks are going to find much easier for them to maintain their lower back in contact with the ground when you elevate your feet slightly and you have your ankle slightly in front of the knee like this. So now I'll press my lower back on the bench and I'll be maintaining that throughout the whole exercise. So then we're simply grabbing the dumbbells and let's go through a couple reps here. So press my lower back on the ground. I'm gonna control all the way down. Press all the way up. So let's go through a couple really common mistakes, and really these are also going to then translate to how can we make this better for a lot of people. So two of these most mistakes are relating to the movement of the scapula. So first, let's talk about the arm path. So let's talk about where your upper arm is traveling in space, okay? So when the arm is traveling 45 degrees in relation to the body, this is known as the scapular plane. So for most people, most of the time, this is going to be the one that feels best on the shoulders, and you're also going to be achieving the most range of motion and the most effective pec recruitment. So if my elbows are way out here at 90 degrees in relation to my body, I can already feel like there's going to be a lot of tension going through my shoulders. And then if my elbows are way in here, now there's going to be way more tension on the triceps, way less pec recruitment. And also, if your elbows are super close, when you bring the weight down, it's really easy for the shoulder blades to tip forward like this. So point number one is that make sure that your arm path is about 45 degrees, okay? The second thing is what your shoulder blades are doing. So there's two really common mistakes, is that firstly, the shoulder blades are either not moving enough or that they're moving too much. And we want just right. We want natural shoulder blade movement, both on the way down and on the way up. So as I lower the weight, my shoulder blades are going to meet each other. They're going to be pinching together. I'm retracting and depressing my shoulder blade. And then as I'm pressing, my shoulder blades are going to reach forward just a tiny bit. And here's the thing, like if I'm not doing enough, if I'm over, what a lot of people are doing, they're over retracting. So they're really locking their scapula back down. This is not natural shoulder movement, and you're going to increase the chances of injuring yourself dramatically. A little bit of protraction, a little bit of reach from the scapula is really, really good for your shoulder health, and it's perfectly natural shoulder movement. The other mistake is that the shoulders move too much, you reach too much. And a really good rule of thumb that we can just smack on the ground here is that pay attention to what your sternum is doing. So I want my sternum to be aimed towards the horizon. So if I'm pressing too much, if I'm reaching too much, you can see how my sternum drops. So as you go through your press, I want you to reach as much as possible from the shoulder blades without tipping forward. So that means that you've gone too far. Let's take a look at this from a couple different angles. Okay, so let's go through a couple good reps here. So we start from our nice reach, and my elbows are going to 45 degrees, going all the way down, and slight reach at the top without dropping in the sternum. So this is what we don't want to see. We don't want the elbows to come too close, because now my shoulder blades have rolled forwards. That's no good. We don't want to go too wide, because now there's way more tension on the shoulders. And lastly, the shoulder blades. So this looks like when I'm not moving my shoulder blades enough. Okay, so I'm stuck here. I'm not allowing my scapula to move naturally. And then finally, if my shoulder blades move too much, and I'm literally crunching off the bench. All right, so let's do a quick recap. We want to see just the right amount of shoulder blade movement. So we want to see a small reach at the top, and we want to make sure that elbow is tracking in that scapular plane, which is going to be that 45 degrees in relation to the trunk. Not too high, not too low. Give those tips a go when you train your bench press the next time, and please let me know in the comments if it made any difference in the way that your shoulders feel, or in the way that you can actually feel your chest muscles working. You might have to drop the load slightly to be able to achieve this kind of a technique, but in the long term, you're going to experience massive gains in your strength and your muscle development, as well as your shoulder health. If you found this useful, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share it to a friend who might also appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.